And we're back. I'm Kimberly Diamond, and you're watching The Human Factor on Now Media Television. Let's dive back into today's conversation. Welcome back to The Human Factor. Love what you're watching? Don't miss a moment of The Human Factor on any of your favorite Now Media TV shows, on live or on demand, anywhere. Download the free Now Media TV app on Roku or iOS and enjoy instant access to a full lineup of bilingual programming in both English and Spanish. Prefer to listen on the go? Catch the podcast version of the show right on Now Media TV website, www.nowmediatv.com. From business and breaking news to lifestyle, culture, and everything in between, Now Media TV is streaming 24/7, ready whenever you are. So as we wrap up, we're bringing Erika Butler back for one of the most important segments of this conversation. I'm really excited about it. So we want to know what it takes to rebuild trust in a broken workplace. Okay. I know you and I have probably stepped into these environments, and it can be a challenge. So if your company has been through a rough patch, a toxic leader, or just years of silence, this is the conversation that you don't want to miss with us. Erika, I feel like the people in the audience who have experienced this type of situation, people have maybe had a leader that made them feel unsafe or ignored. And I know trying to rebuild trust after a situation like this can be like rolling a rock up a hill. I've seen it before. So we would love to get your insight on this topic and, giving us some tidbits on, how we can manage through this. So why is trust so hard to rebuild once it's been broken at work?
Sure, if the same leader's in place, I think just trust takes time. And when trust is broken, confidentiality, you name it, it hurts. It hurts someone. And then they don't trust that person anymore. They're not a go-to person, whatever it is. So I think character is one of the best things we can like have a good character and be trustworthy and don't let that go. Like cling to that over when people are watching, when people are not, because it is really hard to earn back. Possible, but very difficult.
Yes, yes, we've seen it before, and sometimes other leaders and individuals might need to step in for that reassurance until it can be rebuilt. Maybe find the ones that people still feel very confident and trusting in, and have them step in. So,
Mhm.
what are some of the signals that a team doesn't trust its leadership, in your
Sure.
opinion?
So some signals that will definitely cue you into this is resignations with no warning or no with shock.
Mhm.
Like I had no idea they were unhappy, no idea they wanted to leave. So that's like a red flag. Hey, exit interviews, lean into that. Avoid Yeah, exactly. Avoiding, not confiding in leaders. Like leaders don't really know where their team stands. If someone asks them, they couldn't even speak to it because the team's not talking to them. And I also think an increase of conflict and drama among the team because they don't feel like they can go to the leader. So these are all signs that might want to listen in a little closer, might want to lean in a bit to your team. There might be trust issues.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Some people, again, they feel blindsided, and then sometimes you just wonder why. And exit interviews, I think, are very important. And I think that they're often more feared than instituted. I think they're afraid for the feedback and how that might reflect. So, it's interesting, but to your point, actually it should be confidential with HR, but it does help the organization understand better if there's a challenge they need to address. So people should exercise those as often as they can. Okay, well, can you share how a company you've worked with began to earn back the employee trust? Did they do some specific steps, programs? What was their process?
Sure. Actually, I'll just give one specific example. The leader did make some missteps, and they actually started with a apology that addressed the whole team. And then following that, we put in place more two-way feedback because it wasn't there. So we did put in place more focus groups, more ways to hear from the team. We had that leader walk the floor more often and just be available and have office hours that they never had, more approachable to the team. And it did take time, but that person did show humility. And I think when a leader says, "Hey, I'm not perfect, I messed up," and shows humility, and then they actually show up and put the actions in place and do them, it can be redeemed. It can be redeemed. But now on the other side, if the leader won't show humility, if they won't say I'm sorry, if they are not willing to do those things, it likely is a situation that's going to have to be an exit at some point.
Exactly. They should be able to see where they have misstepped and own it. I think that that helps everyone understand that they're human and they get it, you know? So, well, what's the difference between showing that, we care? What's the difference between saying that they care and then actually showing it?
I think it's really easy to see if a leader cares or not about their team, like genuinely cares, because you can say at a meeting, yep, we care about you all. You're so important. Thanks for driving the business. But then that's it. Or you can actually, show up for your one-on-ones and not cancel them. You can be present on the floor. You can, hey, that customer service call, how did it go? I mean, you really are more present leader. And I think even people with big organizations can be present leaders that care about people and know people's names for goodness sake and work to know people's names. I mean, that's powerful for people to feel known and connected to a leader, no matter how big the team is. Of course, hundreds of people, it's not always possible, but just being present, showing up, listening, showing kindness, that goes a long way. That goes a long way for people.
It does. And I had an experience with a Fortune 500 company where the CEO, when he was at the corporate location, he would walk around and make it a point to say hi to everyone, hold town halls. I think that those are really important for people to be able to see the process and the transparency of the organization, what's happening, the positives, not just where, what are we missing? What do we still need to do? I think those things can be expressed, but they can be done in a tone that's more positive. So I think you're right that senior tier leadership really needs to, I believe, focus on their presence. Even though it may be once a year, it's still, when you never see them, you're like, do they really exist?
And do they care? Can I add
Do
on?
they care?
I'm so glad you gave that example because it reminded me, it was younger in my career, but it was literally a Fortune 100 president, this incredible woman. And I was the HR person. I was nervous, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, we're hosting her. What is she going to talk about and do? She spent her whole day sitting with the customer service team and then meeting with the operations team. And she just sat there and was on calls. I'm like, what? How does she have time for this? And I was blown away. And since then, I mean, not every leader will do that. Many come and don't even say hi to people. And here she is spending her day. She's like, no, this is my job. I need to know, what are our customers saying? What is the experience for the team? It just impacted me in such a, and everyone felt that way. Even if she didn't get a time with everybody, they saw her sitting there with the team, and she was like, I'm one of you. I'm for you. It is that they watched that behavior. It was, yeah, I'll never forget it.
No, they do. It goes a long way, even if it's a small segment of their their process when they come to visit or in the course of the year. Um, People remember because I have been with organizations where I've never seen it. Actually, I worked with another Fortune 500. The CEO was just literally next to the recruiting team. And every morning he'd come by and talk to us and say, "How's it going? Guys need anything?" I mean, he was always very present. So I do remember that as well. And I appreciated it very much. And he knew my name. It was obviously because he walked past us every day, it was a little easier than knowing everyone's name. But it was very heartwarming to me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversations with him too. Well, what can a leader do to start changing the story in a damaged culture?
Sure. So if they're taking over a damaged culture, say they're inheriting it, there's a best practice that I absolutely love. It's called a new leader assimilation. And large companies do it. We do it for small companies. And it's actually like 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours in the room. You fly people in even all together and you talk about your pet peeves, the team's pet peeves. What's your favorite ice cream? Goodness sake. Like get a little personal and you just really get to know each other. And I've seen teams that do this and then teams that don't. The teams that do this, they are vulnerable. The leader shows vulnerability. They build trust right from the beginning and they
Right.
just fly. They just move so much faster because they built that relationship early on. We say the first 3 months at least if you can do this versus not. So that's just one best practice tip that I've seen be really effective. And then keep listening, learning, asking questions. Listen more than you talk, like you said earlier. I think the more we can listen as leaders, the more effective we'll be because we know how our team's feeling and we can make better decisions. We have more information to make better decisions with for the organization.
Right. And if they know you're listening, then they will talk. And
Yes.
then you can learn more. Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Erika. I always enjoy our conversations. We could go on and on. This was a very valuable segment, in my opinion. I think people really hopefully listened. For leaders ready to earn back trust the right way and work through how to do that and get some coaching on that, where can they reach you in your organization for that?
Sure. I'd love to have you on our website. It's gohire.com, GOHIHR. And we have a comment box that we get back to quickly, as well as our LinkedIn page, HIHR on LinkedIn. And happy to interact, comment, answer questions. Feel free to reach out on there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for spending time with us and offering such grounded, actionable advice. From building feedback systems to making DEI meaningful, and from seeing HR as a culture catalyst, not the compliance police, to leading through trust. You've shown us what it means to humanize leadership, and that's what we're about here. So, to our audience, if you're leading a team, managing a department, or even trying to build a culture that's been hurt, know this: small actions, consistency can rebuild the trust, it can drive engagement, and it can create a lasting change. And I think it's very important to look at the consistency side of it. I'm Kimberly Diamond, and this is The Human Factor, where leadership meets humanity. The Now Media television app, you can find that on our Roku TV. Till next time, thanks so much.